This is special for us for lots of reasons. We've worked with the Ministry of Digital Transformation in Ukraine for the last year and a half or so, and we've spent a lot of time really understanding the different needs that they have, and a lot of time with Deputy Minister of Digital Transformation, Oleksandr Bornyakov. Do we have him? There he is. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. As I understand it, you're in Dubai. Am I right?
Just came from the JITEX conference, where we also were presenting some of our recent developments and a view on blockchain and telecom development under the war circumstances.
Well, I'm so lucky to be able to speak with you about in this meeting, and thank you so much for joining us. This is a very special discussion about crypto's utility in crisis. And frankly, your organization and what you guys have done in Ukraine to really leverage the crypto industry and to really think about transformation, even before the war, has been pretty remarkable. And so I want to spend some time talking about that. Digital transformation seems like it was long a priority. I think we met with Zelensky and you and his team maybe almost 2 years ago now, and even then you were already thinking about what you were going to do from the standpoint of really moving to a cashless society and really thinking about digital assets and how you can leverage them. And so you were very forward-looking. So as the physical infrastructure came under attack, can you share how Ukraine's digital transformation strategy and the foundations that you had already been building, how they really helped and how they were impacted?
Sure. Well, we actually was not being so long on the scene. So because the Ministry of Digital Transformation was established in 2019, and it appeared due to the initiative of President Zelensky, kind of vision of he wants to build a state and smartphone. So our mission was to build, and still to build the most convenient state for the citizens and businesses, and move all the government services online. So in the center of the state and smartphone vision is our core project called DIA, which is literally translated like action. So DIA ecosystem consists of both mobile application and a web portal. And actually, it was February 6th, almost before the war, we marked the second anniversary of the DIA application. And as of now, we have almost 20 million Ukrainians using DIA products. So before the war, we were kind of rapidly moving towards digital state in a smartphone. But of course, when the war hit us, the digitalization process continues even under rocket attacks and the full-scale war with Russia. So since February 24th, the ministry has transformed the process and focused it on services that all Ukrainians need now to serve the military and civilians. Maybe just to give a couple examples. So when this all started, Ukrainians left home without documents, but most of them had smartphones and e-apps. So the ministry developed a separate digital document that doesn't require internet connection and operations in real time with registers. So they were crossing the border literally without nothing, with a smartphone, but having a smartphone, they're able to identify themselves. Another project, we call it Electronic Aid Project. There's a material support in the first months of war, so about 5 million applications, and just in a few clicks you can government help. We're giving out around like a couple €100. Also, we launched reporting on damaged property, fully digital, so you can apply for material assistance for damaged or destroyed property in the war zone. And we had around 170K applications that already been submitted. And there's a couple other projects like service for internally displaced person, again, completely digital. We hope to run another one with you guys for refugees. So I think, and the latest one is consulting service for adoption of a child, because the war made a lot of bad things for the families, and so you can do this online in the web portal. So those adoption procedures completely redesigned and redefined. So well, another thing that also, like, the war is severely impacted is our registers, all the government data. So on just before the war, we passed the law and established a mandatory requirement to create backup copies of state information resources in compliance with the requirements for their protection, integrity, and confidentiality. So and established actually the ability to establish those resources outside of Ukraine. And thanks to such steps, we're able to transfer key state register and ensure that the work of administration and DIA, of course, even in a war, it's stable. So currently, more than 100 register are in public and private cloud resources of our partners: the government of Poland, Amazon, Microsoft Azure, Oracle, and others.
It is remarkable. I just have to say, it is always such I sit in awe most of the time when I talk to you and I hear everything that you have done, even before the war, but during the war. It has been remarkable to see the efforts that you have made, and also private businesses in Ukraine have continued to operate in such an amazing way. So congratulations on being able to get all of that done, mostly since the war took place and has been happening, and to be able to create that kind of technological advancement for your citizens is just pretty remarkable. And of course, we are continuing to work with Deputy Minister Bornyakov and his team on really trying to help the refugees and using Stellar and some of our partners to be able to do that. So crypto was leveraged pretty heavily by the team. You guys did an awesome job at really thinking through what you can do with getting the donations from crypto, and on a global scale. It was sort of the first of its kind to provide more support for Ukraine during this time. So have you seen crypto improve the transparency and the efficiency of getting the donations to Ukraine and to the Ukrainian government?
Yeah, indeed, especially efficiency. Crypto really helped for the first days, because we were able to cover some immediate needs for the armies of Ukraine. And on the second day of war, the National Bank of Ukraine severely limited our ability to pay in dollars and euro, especially abroad. So there was a run on the currency, our currency called hryvnia, which would quickly devalue, and digital money transfer were banned. And the wire transfer with the international SWIFT system were slowed or sometimes impossible. As a result, the nations from abroad using traditional method ran into problems. So we needed the tool to quickly perform those transactions. And crypto was our first choice for that. So Ukraine's crypto case study shows how the tech can be utilized and support change. Crypto as a bridge supported the government financially before the bulk of other aid have arrived. So by donating crypto, people around the world help us strengthen our wartime defense. And what is important in this crypto case study is the speed of deployment. So basically, within days of being invaded, the government had money to spend. And this to show how it's efficient. And of course, crypto allows individuals to donate easily and instantaneously while safe in knowledge that their money is arriving and without intervention from government or banks, and with minimal transaction cost. And of course, blockchain gives the transparency, so everyone was able to kind of observe in literally real time what's going on. So to summarize, so it has been more flexible and cheaper tool than bank transfers, and it's easier, not complicated and transferred. So which could take just 15 minutes, not days.
Yeah, no, I think that from the standpoint of even having some disruptions in the banks that you did early on, which didn't last long, but having crypto and blockchain be able to be useful to you during that time, I know that was probably like a saving grace to be able to get all of those donations in so quickly. So you continue to focus on digital transformation and in your economic recovery, and why? How are you using technology to focus on economic recovery?
Well, I think to give an answer, I have to give you some numbers, and I think that those numbers are part of the, and well, not just the part, but the major reason why we are pursuing this opportunity. So the tech sector is actually the powerful driver of the Ukrainian economy. And even after the full-scale invasion, the sector maintained 96% of service export comparing to March 2021. According to the National Bank of Ukraine, the country exported $3.74 billion of IT services in the first half of 2022, which is 23% up from the same period of last year. The IT industry paid more than $1 billion in taxes and fees for the first half of the year. And in the same time, other industries are suffering, and I think that digital infrastructure and digital business is the most resilient and effective because rockets can destroy it. And I think that we can tell about the crypto industry, and because we believe that crypto-based economy has enormous potential to encourage economic growth and boost employment. And so I believe that in our vision of Ukraine, let's say 2.0, we're going to develop digital reconstruction in several directions in order to turn in a fully digital state with innovative policy. And it applies reformation of the state structure, significant reduce of civil servants and state bodies, of course, paperless and cashless approach, and our ultimate goal is getting 40% of our GDP from IT sector. So that's why, because it's really shows potential.
Well, it's so amazing. When we met several years ago, when we first started talking, it was already clear that you had thought about the need for technology, not just to be leveraged in the country, but also to bring more individuals who wanted to build technology into Ukraine and to get more businesses thinking about building in Ukraine. I think that forward-looking part of your administration and Zelensky's administration really allowed you to be able to capitalize on this growth from a technology standpoint. But we also know that Ukraine has always been deeply engaged, and mostly under Zelensky's administration has been really focused on cultivating this virtual economy. There's a stat that from the Global Crypto Adoption Report from Chainalysis, and it ranks Ukraine within the top 3 countries in the world for grassroots crypto adoption for the 2nd year in a row. So this is even pre-war. Can you share your thoughts in what continues to drive the growth of crypto in Ukraine?
Yeah, sure. But before I start answering that, I forgot to mention that while in other industries there's no investment at all, for IT we recently presented new Blue and Yellow Heritage Fund, funded by American Venture and FF Venture Capital, and the size of fund is actually the biggest fund since the Ukrainian got its independence. It's $50 million to support Ukrainian entrepreneurs. So I think that's another sign that how IT is important, and even in times of war, we're able to run such initiatives and help young entrepreneurs build what they want to build. So yeah, that's just wanted to mention that.
Well, that's so much credit though to what you guys did beforehand. Like you had already been laying the foundations for bringing in a lot of that support pre-war, not that you were expecting the war to happen, of course, but laying that because you wanted to see your government change and grow. And that's what I think is so awesome about what you've done.
Yeah, and now, exactly. And now to your question, I think, we're in top 5 countries from crypto adoption standpoint, but we also, I think we're ranked at 5 by the percentage of cashless payments in the world. And we also have a really powerful blockchain developers community. And I think it's also because since Soviet times, Ukraine has been a hotspot for science and engineers. I think we have tech-savvy population. So that's one of the reasons we're so advanced, and also we have crypto-curious government. We call this also crypto-friendly government, working on legislation in close cooperation with the crypto community. So those are, I think, those are the reason why we so into it. And maybe just one last thing, that Ukrainians have limited opportunities to make small investment. For instance, like stock market, and that's why they also turn to crypto.
Well, that is the whole notion of financial inclusion, and allowing those who don't have access to these kinds of investments to get access to it. And that's why we like to focus on that, certainly here at Stellar. I also think that one of the things that I worry about, and maybe others who put a focus here worry about too, is that we don't want Ukraine to be forgotten by all the people who have initially come in to make those donations, because there's so much to be done after the war. There's so much to be done to focus on growth and rebuilding the country and helping and supporting the refugees that are outside the country, but also internally displaced individuals in the country. So what do you see for the months ahead, and what's a message that you want to send to all of us here to be able to keep you in mind and keep the Ukrainians in mind as you go through this next phase?
Well, I think the most important thing is we rely on the help of all our allies in the Western world, because like 2 days ago, Russians again started to massively shell our cities and destroy our electrical grid, utility infrastructure. So I think that's the most important one. But it's also important to keep supporting people and with the nation, of course. But we also see that, and we work on establishing a complete legal framework for crypto business in next couple of months, next year. And once it comes to force, crypto companies will be allowed to legally operate in Ukraine, and banks will be able to open accounts for the crypto companies. So that's what we actively working on. And the one thing that I also personally tell to everyone, and taking every opportunity, that is the best way to help Ukraine is to invest in Ukraine. So working with Ukrainian companies, investing in Ukrainian startups is the best way to help us keep up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is honestly, I am always so honored to talk to you. I'm impressed by everything that you guys have been able to do during this really awful time period. And we're going to continue to support in any way that we can. And I'm so grateful for your time today. Thank you and for joining us here. And I'd love to hear a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister Bornyakov. Now, hopefully you'll get a break for the rest of the afternoon or morning, wherever you are. Bye-bye.